issue of carbon pipelines has been pretty controversial for the past couple of years here in Illinois, and the state legislature has advanced a measure that would regulate carbon pipelines and carbon sequestration. It's a technology that environmentalists say is going to help with the, quote, climate crisis. But opponents say it could be a dangerous proposition, as carbon dioxide is a toxic fume that, if it's put into pipelines and bursts, well, you could have all kinds of problems. But a measure advancing at the State House would essentially allow for carbon pipelines to be regulated and move forward. So let's go ahead and check this out as we prepare for more action at the Illinois General Assembly. But this measure has advanced. Again, go to thecentersquare.com. It is Bishop on Air hanging out with you. My full-time gig has me as associate editor for Illinois at the Center Square. The measure regulating carbon capture pipelines passes Illinois General Assembly, and Governor J.B. Pritzker has indicated he will sign it. But some concerns. The Mahomet Aquifer may have a carbon pipeline drill right above it if Senate Bill 1289 is enacted by the governor. And the governor has released a statement after this passed, saying that he would support this. But let's go through this. Legislators concerned drinking water could be compromised if there's a pipeline rupture. The bill's sponsor said that there are additional steps that would help prevent that. But Senate Bill 1289, now amended, seeks to allow the Illinois Commerce Commission to create and approve carbon sequestration pipelines. What is carbon sequestration? Essentially what it does is you have, say, an ethanol plant that there's a lot of carbon emissions. They collect those carbon emissions, they have it as a gas condensed down to a liquid, and then they pipe those carbon emissions off to somewhere to store it. Those carbon emissions can be apparently piped into the ground, 3,000 feet down, and Illinois has been identified as a prime place to sequester carbon underground because of the rock formations that those with more knowledge than I have on this say will help preserve that carbon down there and make it into a solid. For what purposes? Well, you've got individuals who say we got a climate crisis and it's man-made and carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is bad. Others saying that, wait a second, carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is what plants live off of. State Representative Chris Miller in the State House on, was this Friday or Saturday? It might have been Friday. Here he is talking a bit about carbon sequestration and his, skepticism of the concern that people have about carbon sequestration.
Speaker, I think that one of the things that I've done over the last 50 years is I'm a farmer and I raise cattle. And when we're raising cattle, I raise a lot of bulls. And after listening to all this stuff, my old BS meter's going ding, 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 ding. Because what we're seeing here is a myth about climate change.
So he goes on to talk about, is it climate change? Is it, a climate crisis? Is it global warming? We've heard that term change quite a bit. And he pushed back on this, talking about how getting rid of carbon would hurt green things, and that he has actually planted 15,000 or million or whatever carbon capturing plants, soybeans, corn, plants, green things. So he pushed back on that, and despite that pushback, the sponsors of the bill said, well, listen, what this bill does is it has a 2-year-long moratorium on the creation of carbon capture transport pipelines. And they say that that's good because we're going to wait for the federal government to finish their regulatory process on this, take 2 years possibly, and then they can move forward with this. And the various large employer associations say that this is good for jobs and innovation and the like. So they're gonna be moving forward with this carbon sequestration, especially after it was brought up in the Illinois Senate. But passions also in the Illinois Senate they boiled over as well. And State Senator Chapin Rose, a Republican from Mahomet, he talked about a family that is, an entire area that's still struggling with their water after he says the state failed to oversee a natural gas pipeline that ruptured and contaminated the water supply there. And he says that, they've tried to fix this with trying to get things appropriated in the state budget, but the money has not been sent to rectify this. And he worries that if this continues with a carbon capture system and drilling above the Mahomet aquifer, it could lead to even more damage. And he got pretty passionate on the Senate floor. And I believe that this was Saturday or Sunday. My entire weekend, again, I put in like a week's worth of work in just 2 days with myself and some of my team monitoring all of this. But here's Senator Rose on the Senate floor pushing back on the carbon sequestration measure.
This isn't funny. This is not funny. The Eisenmans have been living like this for over half a decade now. Where's Governor Pritzker? Oh, we all voted on a budget 5 years ago to bring water from Mahomet, from the Sangamon Valley Public Water District, up Route 47 to get these people water. He still hasn't funded it. I voted for that stupid bill to get these people clean water, and 6 damn years later, they don't have their water. And the next year comes along again, regional capital. Well, we don't have enough regional capital to do the whole project, so let's do phase 1 and at least get the Eisenmans their water. That's not funded either. So I don't want to hear a damn thing from anybody about cleaning up the environment. I'm sorry, and I apologize, and I shouldn't have said that. But I don't want to hear a damn thing from anybody about cleaning up the environment when these people can't drink their water.
So again, very frustrated. You can hear it in his voice. Dropping a swear word on the Senate floor, which doesn't really happen much. And when you get into these debates, sometimes you do get that, and that takes a lot of attention away from the issues. But regardless, that's a big issue that is advancing again at the Illinois State House, a measure to essentially allow for the regulation of carbon capture and pipelines. But what was interesting, this entire situation has led to associations in the proponents and the opponents that you don't necessarily get. For the proponents, you've got those who support it saying, like the Illinois Manufacturers Association, this is going to create jobs. This is going to help out with, trying to capture dirty carbon and store it somewhere. And you've got environmentalists joining with those business groups saying, yes, we need to do what we can to attack the climate crisis. But those who oppose, there's also environmentalist groups saying that we can't have these pipelines with toxic fumes pushing through close to cities, because even if it's a small, village, if this pipeline ruptures, you've got noxious CO2 gas that can essentially asphyxiate you. And not just asphyxiate you, it could also lead to internal combustion engines not being able to work, so emergency crews wouldn't be able to get in there to assist. So you've got environmentalist groups opposing it as well, but also those opposing it are private property rights groups like farmers saying that they don't want to have their property taken away for these types of projects. And there was one bill that was proposed that the Illinois Farm Bureau was in support of, but this is not that bill. This is a totally different bill. And Bill Bodine from the Illinois Farm Bureau, he told a committee that Senate Bill 1289, which ultimately did pass, it continues to authorize the use of eminent domain for carbon capture pipelines. Our policy also supports requiring developers of carbon pipelines and storage projects to demonstrate progress securing easements from willing landowners prior to the ICC's approval of a pipeline project. This would help ensure the developers of these projects are negotiating in good faith. This bill includes no such requirement. So again, pushback. He says the original bill dealt with that in particular, but moving forward, SB 1289 is a pipeline bill, he said. And carbon sequestration is one thing. carbon pipelines are another. So clearly, this is something that is advancing, and the governor has put out a statement saying that he will be signing this. And here's what he had to say. In that statement from day one, I've prioritized transforming Illinois into a global leader in the fight against climate change. In partnership with the General Assembly, Illinois now lays claim to some of the most ambitious and equitable climate and energy laws in the United States with the passage of Senate Bill 1289. And I'm proud to say we're building on that monumental progress by setting national standards, safety, and environmental standards around carbon capture and sequestration while bringing thousands of new jobs and billions of dollars in investment to Illinois. So carbon sequestration, that also passed the Illinois General Assembly, as has a whole bunch of stuff. But one thing we're still waiting on is that budget, and that's something that the Illinois House is returning today to take up. So we'll do what we can to keep you posted on all of that. It is Bishop on Air. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and appreciate you guys being here each and every weekday morning as we keep you posted on what's going on in and around the Illinois General Assembly and elsewhere. All right. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.